Hey, I'm Bruce Naylor. Welcome to my retirement channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you the reason I was absolutely frightened about the idea of retirement. Thinking there was no way I'm ever going to be able to retire. The reason for that and what I've done to address those fears. And hopefully we can share some information back and forth as well. Now, by way of introduction, my name is Bruce Naylor, and I live in a small city in Indiana. And I've been self-employed practically my whole life in the mortgage industry, mortgage banking, financial services. And then I switched and transitioned over to IT work and had a software business, a retail software business. No, I didn't write software, but rather I resold software for another company for 18 years and finally sold that book of business. No, I'm not wealthy and I didn't make $1 million off of it, but I was still able to retire with a little bit of planning. That's a disclaimer. I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial guru, but I know a thing or two about, finance and stocks and bonds and all that kind of thing because I was a mortgage banker for a number of years. But I was also a mortgage broker, which put me directly with consumers day in and day out, listening to their problems and why they thought they couldn't retire and hopefully I helped so many people in the past. Maybe I can come up with some ideas that you might find interesting as well. Why was I afraid of retirement? Well, it's quite simple. The news. If you read much news at all, especially anything financial, you're going to see these gurus on there, and the gurus are going to start saying, you need $1 million to retire. No, that's old. You need $2 million to retire. No, that's old, outdated. You need $3 million to retire. And the numbers keep going up. Other ones say you need at least $300,000 per person in your household just for medical care after you retire. Hey, Social Security, they're running out of money. They're talking about cutting the amount you receive by 25% in a few more years if something radically different doesn't happen. We're going to cut benefits for Medicare as well. So you hear all this stuff and you go, I am so far behind on savings, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch up. Well, think about it for just a minute. Follow the money. These people's jobs is to get eyeballs, to get clicks, to get eyeballs for advertisers who have a vested interest in selling you financial services. So they're in that business to frighten you into taking some kind of action. Realistically, most people, I don't believe, would need anywhere near $3 million for retirement as long as there's some proper planning done. So what did I do? Well, the first thing that I've done, and I think this is just common sense for most people, you don't need a fancy degree in economics or finance, and that's to live below your means. And I know for many of you are hurting. If you're still working right now, you're feeling the effects of this horrible inflation we went through where, eggs are $5 a dozen and gas is close to $4 a gallon. I get it. So saving money, what are you talking about, Bruce? I'm practically living paycheck to paycheck. How can I possibly live below my means when we're just barely getting by? Well, that's true. That you bring up, that is a good point. However, many of us also have different expenses, what I call sneaky expenses, that we can get a handle on. For example, let's take all the subscriptions to, say, streaming services. The music services, Spotify, Tidal, Qobuz, Apple Music, all these things. Streaming video services, Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video. It goes on and on and on. Those small subscription charges over the course of a month rack up to a large bill. Maybe give some of those up. Us older folks are often accused by the younger that we don't have realistic ideas about how they should be spending their money. Like, we believe that they're spending all their money on avocado toast and they're doing all this kind of stuff. No, they're struggling. They are struggling, but there's still plenty of time in your life, if you're younger, to put a little bit of money back and to learn about investing your money. Number one, rule of thumb, try to live below your means as much as you possible. I'm not saying not to live. I'm not saying that you don't have an occasional meal out or go on a date or, or something like that. But it's so easy to let the bills build up with all these subscriptions, and maybe we have vehicles we're paying for that we really don't need. Maybe we got way more house than we really need and can afford. All of these things can add up. The second thing was avoiding debt. And I'll never forget a trip that I took to Best Buy years ago. And the salesman, I was looking at a big screen TV. I had lusted for a big screen TV. Didn't really have the money to buy a quality big screen TV. And they were much more expensive when that happened, like almost 15 years ago. And the salesman looks at me and goes, well, we can put it on a credit card for you, and then you can just have the low payments and you can get this TV. And I looked at him and I said this. I said, if I have to put it on a credit card, if I have to charge it, then I can't afford it. And he looked at me like goes, smart man. And he left me be. The thing is, understanding the difference between what you need and what you want. And wants and needs are two different things. You need food. You need a roof over your head. You need medicine. You need gas for your car and insurance and medical care. Don't necessarily need, a trip to Europe or a cruise. Now, if you can afford to do so comfortably, fine. But if you're trying to save for retirement and you want to get out of the rat race, then understand that being very, somebody used to say trying to get a dime to a dollar's worth of work. Yeah, I think you really do have to do that at some point. Something I think I'm guilty of, I can't speak for anybody else who's going to watch this video. One time I asked myself, why am I not happy? And I got to thinking, you know what? That's because I'm always thinking about happiness in the future, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next week, next month. I forget to be happy in the now. I forget to be grateful for what I already have. I don't know if that's good advice or not, but think about the now. Do you have food in your refrigerator, a roof over your head? Are you comfortable? If so, be grateful for that. Of course, the next point was saving and investing as much as I can while avoiding debt. And there was a couple things I had to borrow money for. This house that I bought, I took out a mortgage. But I put a substantial down payment on it and I accelerated the payment program. Literally, me and my wife didn't do anything for about 6 years other than watch TV or whatever was free that we could do as I paid down the mortgage as rapidly as possible until, guess what? Don't owe a penny on it, right? The car, the same way. I had vehicles that I'd worked, made payments, had a lot of equity in, traded those in, well, sold them, and then bought my car new, a brand new one in 2017 with the idea I knew that if I bought it new and I was the one that took care of it, that it should last me for many, many years. And it's 2017 and it's only got 21,500 miles on it. I don't drive much, which I'm glad. So maybe I'm getting off track here, but the idea is that if you don't have debt, that frees up so much money every month for you to put back into some type of investment. Speaking of which, also in investing, my wife and I we had money in the stock market. Being self-employed, we don't have a 401k. Rather, we went through what's called a self-directed IRA. And we had a financial planner help us set up an account. And we did that for a while. And then we decided as a couple, we talked about our taste for risk. And we decided that we would be better off, given our age and what we wanted to do, and was to put our funds into precious metals. Now, I'm not advocating buying gold and silver to everybody. I'm not doing that. So it may or may not work for you. But given our age, given our health, where we're at, we felt it was kind of the safest way to go. And we've been very pleasantly surprised to see how the price of gold has went way up. Silver is now going up. So, we're enjoying some nice returns on that. Eventually, we will have to start doing what's called a required minimum distribution, or RMD. Matter of fact, my wife takes her first one next spring. But the point is, you got to put that money to work. Don't keep your extra cash just in a simple savings account or something like that, because the banks are basically just stealing off of you. They really are, So it's more we keep some money in money market accounts, and we have some investments in CDs. And between all that, I'm not even drawing a Social Security check yet. All right. I'm not going to start drawing Social Security till next year. My full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. I'm 65 and 5 months right now. But I'm going to take mine a little bit early, probably around my 66th birthday. So, yeah, I'm going to lose a little bit of money, income, the higher Social Security if I waited till 66 and 10 months. But then I figured I took the 10 months that I would go without those payments. What are 10 months worth of Social Security payments equal versus how much more I'm going to make a month? And I say it's going to take many, many, many months to recoup that and the extra income. So, yeah, that's kind of my plan right there. So, and we also get a little bit of business income. I'm still making a little bit of money off my main YouTube channel, The Boomer Consumer. You kind of see behind me some camera gear and my hi-fi gear, because I got a hobby. Well, I actually got a passion for getting hi-fi gear. I like to review hi-fi and audio gear. I love music. I got a big music collection. I don't even pay for a music streaming service now. I created my own with CDs that were most CDs are practically were given to me, or I got them for $1 or $2. And I've got many, if I had started playing all the music I got on my hard drive, I think it would take something like 100 and some days, 24 hours a day to go through it all, something like that. So, yeah, but I think having a hobby is important, one that you can financially afford. I guess if anybody asks any other advice you might have, one, don't look at the news. Okay, don't listen. I'm not saying not listen to financial gurus, okay? But just remember, follow the money, who's sponsoring them, what they want you to do. There's really good financial planners out there that will be much more realistic, and they'll take in consideration things like Social Security, and if you got a pension, which, by the way, I guess only 4% of American workers now have a qualified pension plan. It wasn't that many years ago. It was like 60% of Americans worked for a company that had a pension. Now it's 4%. Now everybody's got to be their own investment guru and have a 401k. And they're afraid that the money simply won't be there. I mean, the stock market giveth and taketh away. Yes, historically, as you go long term, okay, so occasionally it goes down, but it always goes back up. But it just depends on your appetite for risk. I guess ultimately the idea is if you have a plan to retire put into place, instead of telling yourself, this Suze Orman or whoever, said I got to have so many millions of dollars to retire, this is never going to happen. Don't let that get to you. Don't let that stop you. Live your life. We don't know how long we got. Enjoy yourself. We were not put on this planet to be a beast of burden and work till the day we die. Okay? Don't do that. You can retire. You can retire with dignity, but it does take some preparation work on your end. And it doesn't always have to be so much focused on investing and saving as much as living below your means, avoiding debt, putting a little bit back, learning the difference between what you need and what you want, go a long way, and save and invest as much as you can. pretty simple stuff, really. But I know it can be hard for a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck. I get it. I understand. So that's going to be a topic for another video. I would like to hear from you in the comments down below. So check out some of the other videos on this channel. Appreciate you watching. Bruce Naylor, the retiree. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, yeah, let me do this. Hey. All right.